Thumb in the hand.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you are recording.
Yeah, this time.
Oh, that angle.
It's a dry run is what was going on earlier.
Runs.
It's all weird. All weird. Oh, there's... Oh. There's stuff. There's stuff on the limbs. Can you wipe the limbs off of your beard?
Better?
No.
Oh.
It's completely ineffective at cleaning lenses.
Well,
Now we know.
good for us. We progressed.
We have progressed. We have evolved.
Camera filming a camera. That's crazy.
Did Sid ask you to like film a bunch of unimportant things? That's great.
Because you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You make me feel much attitude. I'm just about me.
Okay, Brent.
I've got a red streak in my soul.
I don't know what you mean, so it doesn't hurt.
Pops the lips.
Samuel Beckett's I Now. Blah 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 blah. Watch the lips.
Kellen warming up. Leo looking behind him.
This is going to be an extravaganza, I feel.
I hear, that's why I need to go and take her.
Should have been what are those people who do this?
Oh, a paparazzi?
Filmer.
Oh, filmer.
Yeah, I should have been a professional filmer. Oh,
Nice.
things got crazy there. Once you approach the camera.
That was
See, you
golden.
can't teach that. That's just raw cinematic talent. Checking out the cards.
Oh, there you
Stoke. For when people need to stoke. Ah. Apples. Yeah. Applesauce.
Applesauce.
Good stuff. I'm a big fan. The zoom on this thing.
I want to hear that violin all the time.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not totally serious. That's
In the planning stages, Sid Yiddish hands off baseball bat and long pole to Chris Bednar. Sid Yiddish walking along the back of the leaving the room now, seemingly in preparation for his upcoming performance. Oh,
Commentary.
slightly visible behind the curtain as he apparently reads over his instructions one last time.
So you're gonna watch this later, and just as a historical document, I'd like to let it be known that I have no idea what is about to happen.
None of us actually, I don't think. Kellen, do you have any idea?
No.
No idea. Chris, do you have any idea what's about to happen?
I have a little bit of an idea.
Backstage.
Yeah.
VIP video.
I think we'll have an experience. Use some objects.
Nice.
Okay.
one of the most loyal of the henchmen.
Henchman, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And his candy store henchman.
What was his name? Like Sark. What? Oh yeah, Art. Okay, yeah. Sometimes he goes by Sark. That was crazy orange.
Also, Brent, that makes me really nervous.
Yeah, it's
That's really
isn't
interesting.
that like kind of predictable?
Yeah.
Ooh, and zoom in on Adrian,
Sorry.
and
You won't be in any of the shots of this.
super zoom on Adrian. Where am I supposed to be? And do you know what I'm supposed to do? Oh,
I have not heard.
I'm filming hands.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Hey,
Oh,
that's,
there's one way of dealing with hands.
unprofessional.
Middle finger came from the moment, right?
Zoom in on Justin's shoulder.
fun
Nice
fact.
seam.
Not a hand.
Justin criticizing my technique for some reason, probably because he doesn't understand my concept.
Yeah. Well, like, he's no Fellini, but
I go down, you stay up. Oh! Making an extreme sports video
yeah, guys.
turned into a chaos page. Oh. We've got liftoff. We've got, zoom. Well executed.
I don't know.
To think we only rehearsed it a few times. Should I? I'm gonna go over here. Matt?
I would like to introduce that Sid Yiddish, wherever you are, it's your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to WSID. That's the Sid Yiddish Radio Network, and we're on the air. Welcome to another quarter-hour edition of Sid Yiddish. When at last we left you, Sid Yiddish was showing curious patrons bearing objects in the death we heard Sid say. Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on this 1952 classic rod and reel fishing boat flagpole used by the late great American fisherman Joe Yost. So the great fishing legend story goes, he was fishing for great white off the coast of Florida, and when he couldn't get the fish, he decided to use the fishing pole like a javelin. And he took it and he speared it. But the problem is, it bounced off a rock, took a 360-degree turn, and pierced him straight in the heart. Poor Joey didn't see it coming. See this is a baseball bat. It was used by the late, great, big league slugger Joe.
Disgusting! You're an animal. Don't serve the land.
Pay no attention to it, folks. So anyway, this bat was used by Joe Schlabotnik as a courtesy by Chicago White Sox first baseman Dick Allen in the spring of 1973 during an exhibition game between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago White Sox. I don't know if you can see the faded marks on here. Sir, can you see it with your glasses? Maybe help you, sir. Can you see it? All right. Ma'am, I think you can. I know you can, of course. All right. Anyway, this overzealous fan jumped the box seats and he leaped forward and straight into the Brewers' dugout. He grabbed the bat, and before security could grab the fan took a swing like directly at Joe's head as if he were a baseball. Well, besides receiving a nasty lump on his head. And folks, that's about all the time we have. Sid Yiddish's Sports Death Museum. Stay tuned for crafty old Sid on most of these Sid Yiddish radio networks. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to WSID. That's the Sid Yiddish Radio Network, and we're on the air. We bring to you live another quarter-hour episode of Crafty Old Sid, the program where Sid Yiddish demonstrates multiples of recycled items once considered trash and now a treasure to have and behold. Brought to you in part by Pack Rats. The trash you toss is our treasure. Take it away, Sid Yiddish. Well, good evening, folks. Get a little comfortable here because, dealing with drafts and stuff, you can't use ties and stuff like that, because they kind of get wrapped. So, anyway, I want to show you this old disc here. See, it was formerly a DVD bound for the trash heap, but instead recycled and transformed into what I call a disc continuous. It's a 41 multiple-use disc for things such as here. Well, let me show you. Okay, it's like a beard comber. Hair comb too, and it scratches your skin. And I'll show you something else it does. It's a pizza cutter. I think we did it. Yes, we finally did it. Well, I think. All right. Mind you, it's kosher because Sid Yiddish does that. It's also a pastry cutter. Sir? Yeah, yes, you sir, Yeah, that's right. You with the funny hat. I'd like you to help me out here if you would. Yes, sir. All right. And now there's plenty of other uses for it too, but I'm not going to show you because we're a little complicated here. So there's this other project I've been working on. It's called I call it the Sid Yiddish's Guitar and Zither Pick Project, in which I reached out to the community at large by asking for plastic card cards and like credit cards and things like that. And not only did I receive some publicity for this project from the local tabloid Red Eye. Boy, they sure don't make typewriters like they used to. See, there's the arm right there. they sure make tap music. So anyway, bless you.
Thank you.
And so I was going to give you an example here of the Chicago cards. Okay. So you put a little pig punch here, and go snap. See, look at that. Check it out. And you do another one, and you go snap like that. Oh, straight into the cake. Always a good sign. All right, so those are the hard part ones. Now these are the acoustic ones, and any hard, what's it called, business card will work. Those flimsy ones that make an instrument. So, and now, see what you can do with these things. Now, besides playing, them, you can also use them to floss your teeth. So, I'd like to demonstrate right now, if you could. And I'll show you, this is what it sounds like with the acoustic. Well, I guess you're waiting for the third man thing, I suppose, right? Maybe not. No, this is what it sounds with the snap. Now, these things are great because, they're like people really want them. It's like Passover candy, so it's like the perfect gift for Hanukkah. But, you can buy them for only $2.25 at Shop Columbia, which that's where they are currently. Or you can get them from me. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give out a few right here, right now. So, sir, or should I call you young man? Is that your number? If you would, can you in the box? Just open the box and just kind of pass them around. There's an acoustic and there is a hard pick. Now, as I say, I'm giving them out for nothing, and so take them compliments of me, Sid Yiddish. Now, if you would, tell me where else you can say you get something for free other than the air outside. Well, folks, we've simply run out of time for today here on Crafty Old Sid, so please, if you would, join me next week when I'll show you how to make a wallet out of infant foreskins. And in the meantime, keep sending those cards and letters to Sid Yiddish, P.O. Box 5008, Evanston, Illinois 602-045-008. And folks, since we have a little time left over, we'd like to show you a demo reel of live action radio programs that I'm actually pitching to the Sid Yiddish Radio Network. We thought you might enjoy. Now I should let you know that some of these have sound and some of them don't, but that's how it sort of goes when you're like, say you're transferring reels over and you got that transmission sound and it sounds really weird. These are the oops, hang on here. All right, so these are the titles. The Origin of Sid Yiddish, subtitle Genius of Genesis, sorry, not Genius. All the same thing. And the sources are from like all the different classes and things I've been in, but I think we kind of figured that out. I won't insult you. I think we need to show that. Sorry, just a little technical here. It happens in radio.
Do you want help?
Yeah, I actually think I need some help. I'm good. You know, All right, so I think we have, thank you very much, young lady. All right, yeah, can you get the lights, please? Thank you. All right, so this is food sleep. All right, hang on here. Things are so weird here on Earth. All right, here we go. It's too loud, let me know.
What is your accent?
So, if you happen to notice the tracking device on my right legs, that would dog me for years. See, I was born on Saturn in a blinding blizzard snowstorm, which would account for my susceptibility to cold in my later years, frostbite. There we go. Okay, so this is a picture of an Earth nurse holding me. CIA, FBI file in the underground bunker. So my official Earth name is Charles Bernstein. $72 for the total. On the video pizza, the ceiling is 10 feet to one. The tomato sauce. It's in the hospital down. And this is the number 9. With the 2 rooms.
It's wonderful. Honestly, doesn't always make rules. Sometimes it makes me a fall. So if you look at Alex, you and yes, let me explain something to you and make it longer. Come along, it's always the best.
Close to that.
Strangers, people we don't know, but whom we soon will. We want to bring smiles, laughter, and it is our hope that these encounters will help remind us all of the web of internet.
You have about 3 minutes left.
All right, since we've got a little time left over, I'd like to pose these questions to you. Ladies and gentlemen, before we depart the airwaves for tonight, I'd like to say two things. I am always most obediently yours, good night, Jenny Magnus, wherever you are. Thank you very much.
Sid.
Yes.
This one.
As somebody who's seen like a variety of your sort of performative interventions in the like presentation format, I would say that this was a lot more successful of a use of that than the previous ones that I've seen. Just in part because sometimes you can be walking this line where I can't tell if you're performing or if you're like just doing a bad job of doing something. Whereas like this was much seemed far more deliberately crafted as a like performance that was also a presentation that was also a performance.
Okay. Thank you. That's cool.
Better than previous ones.
That's correct.
A few things. One, I think it was very, very extremely entertaining. I really got to see the character that you were holistically. One thing I really did enjoy is that me seeing parts of this in different stages and then seeing what you put together, I feel kind of confident. You know, I feel like I was led down a direction and then seeing it all put together, like I see it all together and now I totally see what you're doing. And I really, really enjoy it a lot. I would say one thing I think you could do with this is like, even like I said, the documentation of this alone was extremely enjoyable. Put this on as many mediums as you can, YouTube, as many places that have a video outlets. It's like showing this to people would get them extremely interested in wanting to go to more of your shows, and they'll get what you're about already when they come in instead of having to figure it out there. Also, one thing that, have you ever heard of Sonic Vids?
Yeah, actually, I have.
Yeah, that was what I was going to suggest to you too, as a way of like expanding like gigs in different places that you find that look for stuff like this.
Sure. I really like seeing more and more of the structure take shape in tonight's presentation. In other words, a collection of pieces that you've done suddenly started to make more sense as a lineage of works, as a timeline. I really like seeing that. I like thinking about the meta view as a character that is up and running and performing really more than not. And I say that because I'm on Facebook with you, and so that character dwells there as well. So that's a whole territory to continue to think about, you know, when you're you and when you're the meta you. And I liked, in that regard, the one, I think it was the first performance, the classroom performance video you showed where the medical gown on. There was something of that performance that showed the human side of you, a kind of vulnerability. Even though I couldn't make out what you were saying, there was a difference in tone inside that piece. You know, your bare feet, your stepping on things, your just the tone, even though I couldn't make words. That showed me what that possible edge could be, as you sometimes make the decision to reveal the you versus the not-you. So again, I think that's territory to think about. Very quickly, in answer to one of your questions, how can we get potential audience to engage with you more on the improvisational level? When we were demonstrating the making of these picks, I thought it could be great per object, right, especially coming out of the picks, to really demonstrate the use of these relative to something more that can happen. So Allison Knowles came to mind, and the possibility of an improvisational fluxus-based string orchestra, you know, all showing, demonstrating what could happen by way of these picks. And I think that comes to mind because I think there's still a lot of room for you to make decisions about the fine-tuning and the crafting of what you're doing inside of what you're learning here possible because you're not a naive artist. You're borrowing a lot from that world, but you also have all this knowledge. So now comes, even more decision making possibility.
Okay, done.
So something that came up in Justin Moses' speak was the idea of the duration of performance. I would just like to say kudos to you for keeping this performance going for as long as I've been doing it.
Cliff.
All of a sudden, I get what you're doing in a whole different way, and I can't explain why, but this is the first point, your first question. Clowning is what you're doing. And there must be some huge set of references and things and that stuff that I know nothing about, but it seems like you fall squarely into that.
I'll say something. Have you ever seen Peter Chelsea's film Funny Bones?
No.
Has anybody ever seen this movie? Oh my God, you have to see this movie.
Say it again.
Funny Bones. It's brilliant, and it's British, and it's about all these different kinds of humor: vaudeville, physical comedy, slapstick, Vegas jokes, all these characters, but it's also about how pain is the flip side of comedy. And so my question to you was, so first you should watch this movie, but what is the function of what you're doing is my question to you. Like what is the flip side of what you're doing? Or can you talk about that?
The flip side, can you kind of like explain that to what you mean?
Well, just like I said in this movie, Funny Bones, when you watch it, you laugh a lot, but it becomes really clear that the comedy is a way to mask pain. And that you can't have comedy without having pain. That those two things are together, that there's this contradiction or this tension that exists. And I'm just curious how you think about what you're doing with that kind of level.
I guess what I do, when I started doing this, there's more therapeutic than anything, because my life has been like this. It's like this big joke that nobody gets. But apparently everybody does. So that's kind of where it started. I mean, if I can be so blunt and say this, it's kind of like when your own brain doesn't fit in with everybody else's brains, and it's gone past the point of being freakish because I don't even think about that. I mean, everybody else tries for years and years and years to craft themselves as freaks, but there's some people who can't do that because they just are what they are.
That's great. I understand. I mean, Funny Bones is about that too. So.
I'm not trying for pain. I mean,
No, I understand, but
maybe I'm just not understanding.
it's really, I've never seen it work before. So it's really interesting for you to say it that way, and articulating it and knowing it might be a way for you to understand how you can shape it in a particular way. Now. Oh, wait, no.
No,
I didn't hear your name.
That's Victor.
Victor.
Oh.
Greetings. So, there's certainly multiple layers to thinking about. So one for you to follow Hannah's presentation, which kind of explores a very similar aesthetic in that you're reconsidering or destabilizing the use of material, giving material a new narrative. That's very, very interesting. So there is you as being, and then there's this alien sun Ra you, that even before you put the transcription of some of my there, I was like, okay, you're giving me a cosmic Solaris sort of being. I would urge you to push your otherness a bit more, because there are moments in the performance where, again, it doesn't seem as though if you're being intentional about the humor or if it's a vulnerable moment that you're using the humor to mask and make not so vulnerable. And then I would want your character to develop an arrogance. So often, or the flip. So oftentimes there's this alien being that comes to Earth and you feeble human beings are so without morals and ethics. I'm coming to teach you life, or that you're the opposite, that you're being dissected or examined. So here, who is the protagonist or the antagonist for your character? And I think that will give us as audience a place on how we're to feel. Are we to feel superior or inferior to you as a being? I enjoyed the use of the compact disc to reconsider its function. Again, with this nostalgia, newness sort of thing. Again, push it even further. Then what am I to do with the king? Is it then used as anal cream ointment instead of edible? You know, it's just, I know it's ridiculous, but there seems to be this urge in you to really take it there, go there, in order for the audience to get it. That you're really, really, really taking us to another planet. Drive that. The improvisational jazz aesthetic sort of composition that you're doing, great. Harass humans to interact in different ways. I will pull them away from instruments because those are earth things. So introduce your own objects. And then this radio talk show situation. I enjoyed that. I would love to see muchness with the environment that you're in as a narrator. For that to really look like your pod. Is that where you sleep as an alien being? Is that where you're most comfortable? So what does that look like? You better get it.
Well, I can show you someday, but
yeah, it would just, I just want to see like the reason for this being appearing on planet Earth. So what is this alien story? Like why? What is the objective of this alien being here? When will you leave? Will you take one of us with you? You know, like why
I'm taking with me.
It's just like why is this being here? And I think if we knew that, or if the being knew that, we would know why we're here, watching this alien.
Okay, now.
Pretty simple. So I've seen you perform a couple of times now. In context, you're supposed to be giving your artistry. And I think it's kind of hilarious on one level that you've completely gotten away with doing what's supposed to be an artist statement or presentation without any artist statement or presentation. So, who taught you professional practice? I mean, have you ever written an artist statement? I've never seen you out of character. What is this work about? How is it contextualized beyond therapy? How is it a conversation? And I'm not asking that rhetorically. I'm asking.
Okay. So my art statement, just sort of like I just consider myself like an instrument of sound and body to do a lot of experimentation. And I'm more about showing than telling, because, I mean, if you read a statement is a statement. You know, I think anyone can write a statement. My former career, my last career before I entered as a performer, I was a journalist, so it's kind of hard to, like, I think in my sense it was hard to jump from the one side to the other side, but this is kind of what I do. I'm also not afraid to show myself bleed, which I have a lot of times, and I'm also willing to help anybody else that asks me for help, just to show them that it's not so bad. You can show, kind of show yourself bleeding or whatever it is that you do. And that's kind of like
So I had some thoughts about your third question. Having experienced some of your work recently in the salons. For me, the piece that I felt was the most successful that I myself experienced was the water with the tapping on of the feet onto the brown paper. And I think it's because it's the first time I experienced a performance performance of yours in which you were facilitating rather than conducting. And I think that's a really interesting difference in the sense that I've always kind of enjoyed watching you conduct, but I've always felt excluded from it because it's so personal and it's something that needs to be decoded, and I don't have a means of doing that. But when you created this opportunity for me to interact in a way that was democratic and free and known by all, you know what I mean? That really allowed me to engage the work. So I think that may be a place for you to go, especially because your spirit is so open and so kind of childlike, and you're willing to take all these risks. To be a facilitator, or think about community workshops in addition to your conducting and directing work.
Okay, Paul.
I just wanted to congratulate you. This is the most focused I've seen you presented. So I think you've made a lot of progress. Right? That's what we're doing here. So I think that's really excellent. I feel this is really receivable as both I think Sid, you started where he was like, it's a performance and then it's a presentation and it's a performance. So this is showing motion to me, which I really appreciate that.
Thanks.
I'm not sure, it's like some of the questions that you have, I think the third one's probably the most important for you to deal with. Because I know that you have this interest in transferring the knowledge of some of the gestural systems that we're all seeing backing up about in some of the videos. I think that Leo's actually commented about you leading workshops and leading groups. There might be a necessity to start to answer some of the questions that I think Mel's bringing up about how do you make it legible for folks the first time? Maybe you don't. I'm not really sure whether you do or not. What I want to know is this. I have a question for you. It's a different question. It's because I feel like I'm starting to see trajectory. Could you help me and us know what do you feel like you've gotten so far? Right, we're a year and a half in here, a little bit over that. I know what I think you've gotten, but could you tell us?
Yeah, I think what I can tell you is I can definitely say that this year, if any year, in here has been a lot more fruitful for me, especially with the understanding performance a lot better than when I, came in. I mean, because I was already doing that kind of stuff, but not where it's specific. I think in understanding the community that I'm in, that's been a big thing for me too. And I guess, I don't know if this is the word, I know it's probably something like a wrong word, but just trying to understand and get along and not necessarily fit, because I know that's not going to happen. But I mean, just to understand what expectations, that's the word I mean.
So you have a better sense of what's expected now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's showing.
But also in grad school as opposed to other places, just, I mean, here in grad school of not being afraid so much anymore. That's kind of I obviously I still am, and who isn't, but we just don't say it. But I'm getting there.
We have a lot of people on the list. We're probably not going to get to everybody, but Tiffany is next.
All right. I really like the video. I mean, this is the first year that I've seen your work, and I liked being given that sort of context. And the video was interesting to me in that since there's a lot of people in this program who could even help you with it, but when you watch stand-up comedy specials, it's always directed by somebody else. If you get a collaborator to help direct you and then make, a sort of video anthology, fit this stuff together, since you have the radio show, put the sound over it, make a nice video with your performances and the sound pieces in it and put it all together. because a lot of us all have access to your own performances, but I thought the video was strong, and I think that the performance you did in class with explaining that you're from Saturn and like all that sort of stuff, putting that together with it, it worked really well. And since you are always recording, you can play with that recording of a recording of a recording because you have all this documentation. So start to shape it and put it together and get others to help you. Because, I mean, you can certainly reach out to your classmates. I mean, they're helping you with this right here. So, I'm getting a feeling for what's going on that way. And I do think that you do have to craft an artist statement. Despite the fact that you say that you're more of a shower than, a teller, but you were a journalist, you can write, you're good at it.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, but like I want it also stated by you, like read by you. I want to see it in a video anthology. I want you to be very forthright with what exactly you're doing. I want it to be pointed and that sort of thing.
Sid.
So one of the things that I think is kind of getting at that issue is that one of the things you don't talk about is what this work is about, like thematically. Because having seen a bunch of your performances, there are a bunch of themes that seem to repeat themselves, like sort of alienation, like discomfort with the body, sort of complexities of how to deal with like spirituality and Judaica and all this stuff. And the reinterpretation of like found images. And so there are these like through lines, at least that I'm noticing in the cross-section miscellaneous things of yours that I've seen. But if you don't talk about them, if you don't frame those in some way, it can be really hard to see if this, as a body of work, is about anything. So if you really start thinking more concretely about what those through lines are and why we're making work about those things, and I would love for you to like articulate that more.
Kelly, for reading our report.
You have an incredible live presence, especially with your costumes, with the props, with presenting your candy store henchmen in such a way that it kind of ties into the performative quality. And I was just wanting to say that I think this radio format is really something to jump off at. That maybe you could kind of on Tiffany's thought that maybe you could video document you giving these audio stories or whatever, because you have so much props that you're working with. So it's like the audience or the audio isn't enough for the audience. And I was also just gonna say that what was I gonna say? Oh, with the you've been building the Sid Yiddish character for how long? Like 20 years?
Well, let's see. Well, it'll be 10 years June 4th.
So I was thinking of maybe going with this David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust kind of thing, where maybe you can have eras of Sid Yiddish and come out to say like, hey, I'm warning you that the earth is going to end in 5 years, but maybe you can have some sort of thing that you're trying to say, that all of your infomercials and your objects that you're creating kind of surround that thing you're trying to warn us about. Or anyway, I just wanted to throw that out.
Sabina.
Is that a horn on your head?
Sorry?
Is that a horn?
No, it's a fish.
Yeah, I sort of was with Sid with this, like, I don't understand. I've never seen you before. I just, the reference to, Afrofuturism, right? So Afrofuturism is mixing historical fact, fiction, fantasy, and Afrocentricity with magic realism, with non-Western cosmologies in order to critique
the letter, not only the present-day dilemmas of people of color, but revise, interrogate, and re-examine the historical events. So that's a really, really focused way of thinking about a movement that you're cited here by virtue of talking about Sarah. And I'm wondering what am I supposed to understand about being Jewish, or is it a critique? Is it you as Sid? Why is this guy doing this like Catskill shtick? What's happening? What is it reconfiguring? Is it what's going on? I'm just like, oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on here at all. And I like the idea of using Judaic symbols and this and that. I don't feel like that's being examined in any way except for comedy. But the comedy is even like comedians really focus their comedy, and they do use critique and they do unpack cliches and assumptions and things like that in a very deliberate way. And you're telling me that you were a writer and a journalist, and I think that if that's a really important aspect to Sid Yiddish, that's the whole identity of Sid Yiddish, that looking at how someone like Karen Finley or even Tennessee Youngman uses language and narrative to actually critique and address and direct what their characters do. Like Karen Finley did a whole piece of being, I don't know what, like married to George Bush, and I'm very involved narratives written out, orchestrated, with a political agenda that's taken responsibility for by the writer. Or Tennessee Youngman, is critiquing, not only critiquing the cliches of forced on young black men, but also all the cliches forced on anyone involved in the art world, and they collide in this way that's actually pretty potent, right? So if that's what you're aiming for, is that what you're aiming for? Is that it? Like that genre, and is that a goal to have that kind of thing going on there, like I just cited with both those two district people?
Yes and no, because I'm still at a sort of crossroads with that.
It's time. Time is up. I think these questions is important, and you should think about it.
Right. So they're an artist, so what I still think they have a point, because I still think sometimes people do need to be recognizing that, even if it's kind of frustrating and against what you want to do. Yeah. But like, so it's like on one hand I want to be like, it's like sometimes you do have to kind of like explain.
I'm in a
Am I taking this
professional environment, so I have to.
Right.
You
gotta be like, okay.
I gotta put on my cape and my hat.
Yeah.
I gotta put my glasses on, which I got. Yeah. I put my elbows on my head. So that's kind of how it works. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I wanted to actually talk.
He said about you, like,
I'm actually here to talk. Not on camera.
Temporary camera.
I think that's the next one.
That segment shot by Adrian Siski.
Let me get the cake out of here.
I want to. I put this to you on Facebook, but you're honestly, especially when the questions got cut. Thank you for showing us your work. I was really happy.
Thanks. I'll tell you, 2 years of America's Got Talent has really helped.
Well, keep saying attention.
Thank you.
I will say
Thank you so
this
much.
is you should be happy with what you've achieved here. I know some people aren't going to get it, but I don't want them to at this point. I want there to be people who don't question me.
We'll have a chat. All right. I got it. Thank you. I'll as soon as I take your time.
Hey.
Out of that.
Nice.
That was a good one. I thought it was
Adrian.
There's something else that just, I was like, it's almost like and you're not walking. So it's like we're in a similar
really seriously thought about it. You know, boy, I don't know how tough. I don't know how tough this is. I don't know how I did it. I'm really good at it.
You nailed it. Yeah. Like that seemed to go perfectly fine.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
Got like an hour and a half of terrible footage.
I don't know what to say to Mel and Sabina because just getting away with it, well, okay. I don't understand how you can get away with other things being the way you are. If you're going to be academic, then be academic. But sometimes what I can say to them is like, you're so fucking old and you're so, you like, I can't say like that. What I mean is, I'm not a rock, you know, and I'm not a stone. And I'm not sitting there and going to teach you certain things. I'm going to show you the way it is. And you're not going to get phony. But if you want to get academic, you're either sitting on a potato chip or a corkscrew. I don't know if I have to get the mics out of the way or not. I'll be right back. I get there.
At the exit.
Yeah, I gotta get this stuff. You're gonna follow me?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for helping me.
You're great. You should sit in the closet. It's documentation.
I know.
It's just part of the process.
Is he coming back?
Got the sky cam working.
Yeah.
Does this count for anything? Does this count for class? Can I turn some of this in?
That's what you're going for.
I've been playing with angles.
A little bit here and there and stuff.
I've got like 2 hours of terrible footage right here, so.
And our voices.
Hey!
It's just funny about Mel and sitting there going after it. Okay, yeah, there's matters that don't speak down there, like say, box on for you. I'm not a pizza box.
Yeah. It's typically the nature of the institution.
Yeah, it is. That's all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
But it's over.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I know. I didn't kill this for like a $60 time. So. Thank you so much for this.
It was great. It totally made your day. Now I'm going to wear it.
Yeah, well, okay.
So that was an authentic Cliff Metter tie?
Yeah, it was. He said it was
he asked me for the
ugliest
tie
loudest, and most terrible looking tie.
And so I
That's
thought,
like
what do you think?
That's a thrift store tie right there.
It's actually a really nice tie, but
I know, but you know, thanks seriously.
My pleasure.
Thank you
My
very
pleasure.
much.
And so we should sit down and talk because I have this whole thing about clowning. All of a sudden, I went, "Oh, you're never out of character."
Sometimes I don't know how to switch it on and or off, you know, and it's kind of how it works, you know. I don't know how to do it. I wish I knew how to do it. I can't.
This is the only time.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with that documentation?
Facebook, YouTube, video.
Oh, it's
What are some more?
New performance piece. I gotta get some water. Hi.
Oh.
Doing all right. Hello, America, how are you? Won't you see that I'm your native son? Here in the city of New Orleans.
Good job, Sid.
Thanks, Leo. Thanks for coming.
Yeah?
Getting back into the brain of Sid.